Everybody, Gina Marie has a work conflict today. Wow. I'm quiet. That's what my wife says.
Here, you can take it out too.
Anyway, Gina Marie has a work conflict today, so she asked me to stand in for her. So let's get started. Welcome, everyone. And Cindy, I believe you're going to lead us in the pledge.
Do you want me to come up here?
If you like, sure.
How do I do this? Left hand, right hand, okay. Please join me. President's Day is on Monday. Okay, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and for all. Now somebody's not muted.
Thank you, Cindy. As far as an inspiration goes, I have a little quotation from The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. It's about friendship. For what is your friend that you should seek him with hours to kill? Seek him always with hours to live. For it is his to fill your need, but not your emptiness. And in the sweetness of friendship, let there be laughter and sharing of pleasures. So, how about any visiting Rotarians today? Not seeing anybody. Okay, just some other guests and maybe Dawn, you want or you want to wait?
I'll introduce later, but our guests are Dave Valenzuela, the superintendent of the River School District, and Wendy Giordano, who is communications coordinator. They'll be entertaining us soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, and welcome. Look forward to your presentation. Okay, how about announcements? Are there any announcements? All right, come on up.
Thank you. My first announcement is when you hold this microphone, you have to eat it. Just eat the microphone, because otherwise we can't hear you out in the hinterland there. My second announcement is that we raised $2,350 for the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund with the Super Bowl contest. And I forget what that thing is called. What's that board called, Liz? Whatever it's called. It's a gambling thing and sort of. And Janie Duell won the Paul Harris Fellow Award. You get 200. Somebody needs to turn off the microphone up on the board there. That's all my announcements.
Thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to announce that if anybody wants to be a greeter, Holly's been our greeter for the last couple of weeks. But if anybody wants to be a greeter, please sign up for it. There'll be a sign up, I think, on the back table there. So I'll make sure there's one. And I think online we can start that too, along with the inspiration and so forth. Thank you.
Up to 40.
Thank you. Sorry. Go for it. Sing.
I can't, I'm not host. I don't know who's host.
Okay, if you want to speak, you need to unmute yourself and talk and speak up. All right, Brenda, did you have something? Oh, there you are. You good?
I'm not gonna try walking up there.
Yeah, stay where you are. You're good.
All right, Porch Fest is coming up and I have been the vendor chair for the
all the Porch Fests that we've been doing. And I'm getting kind of old and I need help. So I need somebody to be a co-chair with me. Hopefully somebody that's a little bit more technology wise than I am, and that would be anybody. And so it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And so if you would be interested, please let me know or let Doug know. And we can have some fun this Porch Fest. The last 2 years I've had Chris Walker and he's gone off to school. So I don't want to do it myself because I know how bad it would be. So thank you. Well, we signed people up as they want to become some Porch Fest vendor. And we have to keep a spreadsheet. That's where I run into trouble. And there's some technology involved because the people who are running the website have the newer technology that can be plugged into that I can't really plug into as far as signing up on the website and information coming through to us. And then it's setting up the booths and assigning vendors, which can be kind of fun. So the worst part for me is the technology and interfacing with all the kinds of new formats that are out there. So yes, Patty.
So do we have all our, that are going to be recipients of the fund to our nonprofits to have food?
Well, you
need the question.
yeah, Patty wants to know if the nonprofits that we are going to be, and I need to know who those are, because you said that we have them. And yes, I would work with them and have booths set up for them. So let me know that. But are we ready to announce to the club? Because I think other people may be as curious as I am. Are you gonna announce them? Okay. Great, you gonna come up and announce them now? All right. Eat it.
Eat it. Eat it.
Okay, so this is an alphabetical order. CASA, Family Solutions, Growing Together, Maslow Project, Project Youth Plus, and of course our Rotary Youth Programs.
Oh, wait.
We have only wanted 4, so each one would get a significant amount. But we are doing really well in fundraising, so we raised that to 5, and I think we'll still be able to give a good amount. So
All right, I'll give it back to
Thank
Jim.
you, Brenda. Okay, any final announcements? Okay, well, let's move on to the next part of the program, which is the service above self award. And let's see, Eric Lathan, the principal of North Valley High School, is going to do the honors. So Eric, would you introduce our student, please?
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. Hello, I'm Mr. Lathan, principal here at North Valley High School. And it's my privilege and honor to introduce to you Ayryle Schultz. I'll let her talk a little bit about herself here in a moment. But Ayryle is an outstanding student here at North Valley. And we are very appreciative of Rotary and the Rotary Club for honoring her and recognizing her. She's been involved in many things here: band leadership, National Honor Society, the Interact Club, to name a few, as well as athletics. And she carries a 3.8, I believe, GPA, and is an excellent academic student. But above all, and as great as she is academically, she is a great person. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about what she's been doing in the community and what her future plans are. But again, we're appreciative of the honor recognizing her. And so I'll turn this time over. This is Ayryle Schultz.
All right. Hi. Okay. So some of the things I do, as mentioned by Mr. Lathan, I am a part of Leadership, National Honor Society, and Interact for the service aspect of things. I hold leadership positions in each of those within the group. So in leadership, I'm one of the head leaders, and Honor Society, I'm one of the leaders. Yeah. And I also hold leadership positions throughout Interact. And yeah, I've been doing all of these things all throughout high school at now. And yeah, so my future plans are I plan to be a music education major at Southern Oregon University, and I want to be a music director. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Questions? Okay, do we have any questions?
I'll blurt out because my hand is up and nobody sees it. So wonderful to hear about that. I'm sad that Kelly Moody is not here today to hear about your passion for music, because she is a very powerful person. She was a music teacher and director at Lincoln Elementary School, and she's a big part of this Rotary, and she's very involved in those sorts of things. So what sort of opportunities do you have at North in terms of music? What inspired you to go down that road?
The main thing that inspired me was getting into all-state band. So I've done the Southern Oregon Honor Band, and I've also done multiple things within our local school band. But getting into all-state kind of just led me to my passion of music, made me realize that I wanted to pursue that for the rest of my life.
So do you have plans in the future as to where you're going to pursue that? Did you say Southern Oregon? Did I hear that
yes.
correctly? Okay,
yes.
Great. All right. That's wonderful to hear.
All right. Any other questions?
I have one.
All right, Dawn, let's do it.
What instrument do you play?
For marching and pep band, I play clarinet, and then for concert season, I play bass clarinet.
Wow.
All right, good job. Very good. Okay, Doug. Can you ask if she either writes music or is involved in that end of music thing? I'm not sure if it's the same. Ayryle, we have a question. Do you write your own, or are you involved with others perhaps in writing music?
I personally don't write music, but I enjoy playing it, yeah.
Oh, and Kelly, who's absent, is
Hey, I'm telling you. And who's your band teacher?
My band director right now is Max Jones. He's new to North Valley as of last year.
Okay, all right. So you're going to be studying at SOU. You're going to meet a great band, marching band.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. And I'll tell you, you go, girl. You stay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I've been doing it for many, many years, and you are going to have the best time. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Ayryle, I think that's it. I think those are
all right. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Most welcome. We're very proud of you. Thank you. Yeah, just a little editorial comment. I think the service. Oops, Valerie, back to Valerie. Maybe she put that.
I was just clapping for her because I was proud of her too.
Hey, Ray, I just want to say, I think the service above self award is one of the best things that Rotary does. Dawn, would you like to introduce our speakers?
Yes, and I'll eat the microphone. So Wendy Giordano, as I said before, is the communications coordinator. I asked her to give me a little description about Dave Valenzuela, who is the superintendent of the Three Rivers School District. She said, is it too long? I think it's just really worth reading word for word because I learned an awful lot and it makes me proud of sort of the idea that we're able to grow our own because you're an example of that. Dave Valenzuela has spent 40+ years within the Three Rivers School District. As a student, he started first grade at Selma Elementary, Lorna Byrne Middle School, and graduated in 1991 from Illinois Valley High School. From there, he has worked in the maintenance department, held classroom classified positions, spent time as a building administrator, a district office director, and now as superintendent since 2016. Superintendent Valenzuela has shown time and again his ability to stay focused on what is most important, meeting the needs of every single one of our students. He knows Josephine County, the families, the students, and the community in a uniquely intimate way. He knows the struggles our families and students face because he experienced some of those same struggles. Three Rivers School District has 4 out of the top 5 highest poverty density zip codes in Oregon. And Superintendent Valenzuela has fought for each one of those students from day one. Superintendent Valenzuela is the longest serving superintendent in Southern Oregon, providing consistency and dependability in an ever-changing educational environment. So with that, we would like to welcome Superintendent Valenzuela.
Wow, thank you. That's usually what I start with my introductions. That's usually what I say. So now I got to figure out where I'm at in the program. Wendy helped me out with some slides to talk about Three Rivers, but I just want to say thank you so much for inviting us to come out. I love talking about Three Rivers School District. Like I said, I've been there for a long time. Usually what I do is I said, I've been with Three Rivers for a long time, since 1979, and then I let people do math for a little while. And then I say I was a first grader at Selma Elementary. But it's a pleasure to be here. We have a lot of great things going on in Three Rivers that I'm excited to talk to you about. First off is one of the things that people don't realize, and this happens all the time. Might happen to Tim over in Grants Pass too, but they confuse Tim and I with what schools we're responsible for. Three Rivers is vast, and so the next slide shows kind of some of the areas that we cover. So we have a charter school out in Wolf Creek. We have Applegate School, is actually in Jackson County. We have Illinois Valley High School. We have a bus that goes to the bus station, and turns around right there. We pick up kids from California right there. So we have Douglas County kids that come to our school. So some of our Douglas County students will start in Woodland or in Sunny Wolf Charter and then come to us at North Valley and hang out with us. So we have Douglas County, Jackson County, Josephine County, and Del Norte County students in Three Rivers School District. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that we're a huge geographical area with 1,200 square miles. Our buses roll 10,000 miles a day. And so we have a lot of challenges when it comes to that, right? And especially in the last few years, when we were trying to deal with COVID and overcoming some of the connectivity issues and getting kids connected to school, that was one of our biggest challenges, was just the geography of our district. But all that aside, we have been doing some amazing things. And the first thing I really am super excited to talk about, and anybody in education will know why I'm so excited, is I get to praise our school board. That's not always the case. You can't always praise the school board, but my school board, or our school board in Three Rivers School District, is amazing right now. Super focused on students, student achievement, caring for kids, authentically caring for kids, and our staff. So instead of having me, a school board gets to tell you all these things to do. And sometimes they have you chasing, contractors, and they have you chasing projects that don't really translate to classroom achievement or what students are doing. I have 5 school board members right now that are super dialed in and focused. And so one of the things about that is our core values. And I think it's important to put that context into place. So a few years ago, when I started as superintendent, our graduation rates were around 68% on average. So all 3 high schools and our alternative placement, our average 68%. it's a solid D, right? If you were gonna put a grade to it, we weren't doing that well. We were failing a lot of students. And so we came up with some goals, traditional board goals about getting that number higher, getting more students across the stage. And I think back then it was 83% by 2023. So this year's students, 83%. We surpassed that 3 years ago. And this year we had all 3 high schools in our district over 90% and Hidden Valley at 93%. And so thank you, it's been amazing. And so when we surpassed that goal early, so like, I think it was 2000 or maybe our 2019, 18, we surpassed that. So we started to think about that. And one of the things we heard from business owners, like many of you in this room, is the graduation number is cool. I like it. But the students that you're sending us, these young adults, they don't know how to be young adults. They don't know how to show up to work on time. They don't like staying for, like I tell them to be at work for 8 hours. They don't like doing that so much. Or they're on their phone, or I ask them to do 3 things and maybe 1.5 get done. This was the feedback we were getting. And I was like, holy cow, is the number really the most important thing? And so what we see here is that center circle says student success and life-ready learners. And life-ready learners is really what our school board in Three Rivers and our administrative team hang their hat on. I love the graduation numbers. I get to shake every graduate's hand as they go across the stage each year, and the more hands, the better. But what I'm more concerned with than anything else is what are those students ready to do on July 1st? And so this life-ready learner piece has become our core value at the center of it all. And graduation rates are an indicator of that, right? If students do all the things necessary to receive a diploma in the state of Oregon and in Three Rivers, that's an indicator that they're life ready. But we also have a set of standards we call employability standards, and it's around dependability, accountability, collaborativeness, all these different traits that you have told us that you want to see in workers when they get out of school. And so that's our driver. And it's really cool for me to have 5 people dedicated to that. So supporting me and supporting that effort with our administrators and our schools. And the other 2 goals were around culture of care and community engagement and families authentically involved. And I'll tell you, this isn't a great opportunity for me to come talk to you guys, tell a story about Three Rivers School District, introduce myself. Hopefully you're interested enough to contact me or like go see Eric Lathan and see what's going on at North Valley. Our doors are wide open. I want you in our schools to see what's happening because I'm beyond proud of what's going on in our schools. And so community centered, you know, when I grew up out in Cape Junction and Selma, and I was a little guy, where was I on Friday nights in the fall? I was at the football game. Everybody was at the football game, and we weren't that good. Even when I played at Illinois Valley, we weren't that good even then. We were a little better when I was there. I'm just kidding. We still weren't that good. But I was there. I grew up at the football field as a little kid. And I met all my friends there before I started school. I want our schools to be that center of the community again, because that's what I grew up with, and I knew how important it was to me. And so I want it to be important to our communities again. So we're really focused on community-centered schools and getting families authentically involved. And I meet with parents all the time. I just had this crazy idea last night where we did this thing called Coffee with the Superintendent. And it's really put a target on the superintendent and come throw darts at him is what it should be called, because that's what the parents want, is they want an opportunity to come and tell me what is wrong, but it's great. It's a good opportunity for me to learn how I'm either serving or not serving our families. So that goal helps us stay focused on that. Then around that is a culture of care. And you know, I was talking to Don before I got up here about trauma, right? Students with trauma, we've all heard about it. And I was just at Fort Benoit Elementary School last week talking to Alicia Timms about trauma. She said, now I'm dealing with all my students over here with regular trauma. And I said, what is regular trauma? She said, well, That's what we used to talk about when we said students have trauma. They come from a broken home, or they sleep in a car or whatever. That's our kid with trauma. Now we have extra trauma or deep trauma. We have students that have surpassed our regular trauma and it's become normalized. And we're supporting students that have a complete set of different issues and like where support used to be lacking, now support is absent, negative, it's a void. And so, you know, when I was the principal at Evergreen Elementary School, there was always, it was back in like 2006, there was this concept of, you know, that is a parent's job. We shouldn't be doing that. That belongs taken care of in the home. We're supposed to be teaching math and reading and music and those types of things. That is never said anymore because we now know that we have so many students that don't have, I can't say that needs to take place at home because there's no home, right? There's no parents, there's some of those things. And so a culture of care, that blue circle is critical for us in Three Rivers. And just like other school districts around us, we're dealing with a different problem today. And if your expectation of me is that I'm going to make sure that these students graduate and know how to do things, then I've got to do that. I've got to do the blue part, because if they come into school and they're starving, or they come to school and they're frozen or whatever, they can't learn. So we have a whole new concept around taking care of that. And so, and part of that too, it says culture of care for staff. I'm not in front of students all day long. I try to be, it's way more fun than adults, but the people that are taking care of the kids are the people that I need to take care of. Because if I'm not doing that, they can't do their job, and then they can't take care of the kids. So anyway, I'm very proud of our core values as a school board, and I think Three Rivers is onto something with that. And so I just wanted to put some context to that. Next slide, please. We are super focused on our CTE programming in Three Rivers School District, and this is something I've heard since the day I took this job. Was when I was in school, I took woodshop, and it was the best thing ever, and we need to bring woodshop back. And we do, we have woodshop, but now we have career and technical ed has kind of evolved from when I was building birdhouses and cutting boards in school to actually job-related skills. So, you know, out in Illinois Valley, the manufacturing program there, they're graduating students from Illinois Valley High School right into like jobs at Rogue Truck Body, where a student's making $32 an hour on July 1 after graduation. That's huge, right? Some say that's too much money for an 18-year-old to be making. They're just going to blow it on a phantom stereo, but it's a good opportunity for them. And so we've really infused our efforts back into these career and technical ed programs. We have automotive out at Illinois Valley. We have woodshop at all three high schools, manufacturing, so the welding and CNC programming and all that stuff takes place at all three high schools. And for the first time in a long time, we have ag and FFA at all three high schools again. We have a health sciences program at North Valley High School where we saw Mr. Lathan. So this is introduction to the health industry, which is the largest industry in Josephine County. So we're trying to get kids ready for that. And we're trying to build an early childhood ed program because selfishly, I'm trying to grow my own workforce, right? The teachers and classified staff that we hire that are Three Rivers graduates, not to say that I'm biased or anything, are the best. Not maybe from a skill perspective, but they know our students and they know our families, and they're not going to get trained up and then move away. And so if we can grow our own workforce, then we're going to be stronger in the long run. Because right now, I get asked all the time, like, why don't you offer a culinary program? And I'd love to offer a culinary program. And I actually tried to get one off the ground at Hidden Valley. And I offered a job to one of our a culinary chef that we have a partnership with. And they said, I'd love to, but I'd take a $40,000 pay cut to come and be a teacher, right? So it's hard for us to find people to take these programs, especially when we're pulling them from industry where they're making a lot more money. So I'm going to trick them, and I'm going to grow them from early on and keep them in the system like we go. But we're really proud of our CTE program, and I think it's going to help us with that center goal of life ready learning. So next slide. I selfishly take this opportunity to talk about something that I get asked, you know, at the market or anywhere else. It's like, what did you do, Valenzuela, with all that money that the feds gave you when COVID hit? And so one of the things I like to do is talk about that. So there was some, there's some reports and everything else in the paper about, we got $50 million in COVID money. Well, we didn't get near that much. We had about $25 million. And this is some of the big ticket items that we use that money for. That money's expiring, it's going away. But that's what we've done. We hired 27 teachers on top of what we already employed to make sure that we could provide the most robust outreach possible, right? So we had to figure out how to teach kids in distance learning and then how to bring it back with all the restrictions. And so we knew that we needed more people. And so that was a huge investment with our money. We're currently constructing, we have a bunch of new learning space, and we're constructing a little bit more, but 12,000 square feet of learning space. That's what we use that money for. Single occupancy, restroom upgrades, and you can see, you go down, we had a lot of PE and music support. So we were trying to provide an enriching environment, especially as students were coming out of COVID, trying to make it more enriching for them. Just a number of things, but like the big ticket items up on top. And that money didn't go very far, especially in today's age with construction costs the way they are. It didn't go as far as we hoped, but we got a lot of great things done with it. And so if you have other questions about that, I'm always excited to talk about. No, I'm not always excited, but I will talk about our COVID release dollars and how we spent those. Next slide, please. In that, this is always the most popular part. I'm glad everyone's done, so don't throw things, extra pizza. We're going to be going out for bond in Three Rivers School District next November. And I went out for bond in 2019 in the spring. And we asked for, it was $86 million bond. And this is the list, the huge list of things that we felt like we needed in Three Rivers School District. And our campaign was safe, warm, and dry schools. We wanted to provide safe, warm, dry schools. And the safe part, we have really open schools that are wide open to threat. So if someone wants to come on to Evergreen Elementary School, there's a lot of ways they can do that. So that's about physical security and safety. The warm part was HVAC upgrades. And up there, that HVAC upgrade is about a $28 million price tag. Now, I was told unequivocally by voters back in 2019, no, that's not going to work. So our new campaign is going to be it's going to be dry and safe. We're going to go for roofs and we're going to go for safety. And that's it. We don't need warm kids. We just need them dry. But in all seriousness, I know for a fact that I could not pass a bond that allowed us to build 3 schools. I couldn't pass a bond that allowed us to build 1 school in this county. I know that to be true. And so what I know I need to do is protect the investments that exist. I went to Illinois Valley High School, and when I went there in the 80s and 90s, it was about 15 years old. And so at this point, those schools are over 50, getting to be 50 years old and older, and there are newer schools. We have 2 newer schools in that, Lorna Byrne Elementary School, or Lorna Byrne Middle School and Fruitdale Elementary. They were built in 2003. And those are our newest schools, now approaching 20 years of age. So I feel the most important thing to do is protect those investments. Because if I can't build a new school, I better protect the ones we have. And so we are going to be going out for bonds that just covers our roofs, and whatever is left in that tenable dollar amount, right? That's what we'll put towards safety. And so that is what we're going to be talking about. So I can talk about that right now because our board hasn't officially gone out and said they're going to go out for bond in November. So if anybody is interested in talking to me about that, I would love to. And if you're a no voter at heart, and I at least convince you not to campaign against Three Rivers School District, then I've done my job here today. But that's where we're at. I mean, this is a picture of a water feature that we installed in the principal at Illinois Valley High School's office whenever it rains. And that's one of like 10 spots that Illinois Valley actually floods through the roof when it rains. And we're fixing Illinois Valley High School. We're borrowing $1.5 million, and we got a grant, a seismic grant to take care of the roof. And then we're pulling another $1.5 million out of our general fund. So $1.5 million is about 10 teachers that we're gonna put to the roof. So we can keep Illinois Valley High School bright, because we can't wait on that. We can't wait to fix Illinois Valley High School for a bond to pass. Because in reality, I know I may go out in November, and I may go out in May of 24, may go out in November of 24 until it gets time. So that's what we're dealing with. Is there another slide? I don't know if there is. Oh, yeah. So this is last year's valedictorians, and this is why valedictorians and salutatorians from last year, from all 3 high schools. And this is why we're doing what we're doing, right? These students are all out in secondary ed right now, or in higher ed, pursuing their dreams. And we gave them a lot of great opportunities. And in the next group of students, we want to give them even more. So I appreciate the time. I'm here if you want to ask any questions. I don't know if we have any time for questions. Yes.
You said your graduation rates went from 68 to 83%.
There was 68%. We set a goal of 83%, and we surpassed that in 2019.
What factors would attribute that? That's pretty extraordinary success.
Well, a number of things, but a laser-like focus on getting students across the board. So what we noticed with our graduation rates was, and so the question was for anybody online is, how do we get from 68% graduation rates where we're at today? And we focused on making sure that our freshmen never fell behind. That's where we started, right? Because it's that concept as a freshman, I need to have my 6 credits when I'm done with that year. And if I don't have those 6 credits, then I'm already starting behind. So I've got to take 6 credits as a sophomore, plus a couple credits that I missed as a freshman. That becomes daunting. It can become a compounding problem. And so we really focused in on our freshmen. And as we continue to support our sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and then we started to add in more support. So we have what we call MTSS, which is multi-tiered systems of support. And that is a team of folks that comes into, at every high school, they come in with a list. And I've sat in on these meetings. They talk about every single student in the school. Now, some of them is like, yep, Johnny's rocking, 4.0, no problem. Go down the list. And then we start talking about student A, who we know is living in a car, is working part-time. And so what do we need to support this student to make sure? And where are they at right now with credit acquisition? How are they doing in their classes? And then we go to that student and provide them the support we feel like they need, or what they're telling us they need. And so I think by the beauty of being in Three Rivers is that we're small enough to do that. So we look at every single student every week to make sure that we're keeping them where they need to be. So I think it's attention to detail, probably. You bet. I saw a lot of hands go up, but right here. It was 27, and then we were paring that down to 13. So they're either going in so 13 of those are going into general fund. Some are retiring. We were overloaded, right? So I could, as a teacher, I can only have 15 students in a class, let's say. Now that restriction has gone away. So we're slowly lightening that load, because those are one-time dollars that we were paying for people, and those people are like, hey, what are you going to do when your money runs out? So we're figuring that part out. Oh, yeah, sorry. That was a question about how are we doing with retaining those people that we take over effort funds. Question here.
I'm really happy to hear how involved you are, how much you care. However, I am aware of a number of students from Illinois Valley High School that didn't finish school, and from my perspective, which is probably skewed because I'm not right there, I don't know both sides of it, but has been part of a culture that I've been aware of for a long time at Illinois Valley High, where certain kids are bullied and nothing's done about it. And some of those kids did not graduate. I just recently heard from who had a very high achieving student have a very disturbing issue with one of the teachers, and she wasn't real happy with what the kind of reaction she got. And I think the involving families and families involved in a positive way, and that whole process is important. So I'd like to talk to you. Maybe the information I have is totally wrong, but if it's not, then I think there's something that needs to be done. Back in the '70s, early '70s, I had children in school, evergreen, of my own, and so, you know, I've been aware of Healing Valley. I feel like it's my home, like it is your home. And, but I have connections with people that are more on the edge. And I think some of them have fallen on the cracks. And it's kind of heartbreaking, and to know that you care and you're reaching out for this kind of input, I do want to thank you.
All right, thank you. That's a long one for me to repeat, but essentially it's about the Illinois Valley and making sure that we're connected to all of our students out there. And there's a bullying issue. And I'm not going to tell you there's not. There's a bullying issue at every one of my schools because there's a little bit of bullying in every one of them. And we work tirelessly to eradicate bullying. And I'll tell you, if anybody's got the magic bullet out there, I'd sit down and buy you another pizza to talk about it. It's something that we continue to work on, and it is in the forefront of our thoughts for sure. And, you know, getting last night in that coffee with the superintendent, I heard some parents talk to me about getting me in authentically. Like I'm a parent, I want to come talk to you, but I want to talk about what I need to talk to you about, not whatever your agenda is. So we are creating more opportunities for parents to come in and talk to me about what is really on their mind. So I appreciate that. There was a question back here and then right here. Yes, sir.
Hello, and thank you for coming here today. I applaud you for your CTE program, and I'm assuming that you're expanding that as time progresses and as your resources are going on. I'm a retired small employer in this valley, automotive repair, and we have had a difficulty in the automotive industry approaching about 10 years of having qualified people to fix and maintain your vehicle. Now, the guys that I have working that are proficient, they're making about $80,000 a year. They can make more. So I say go for it. And RCC has a fairly good program. But the guys even coming out of RCC, they're not knowledgeable enough to walk into an $80,000 a year job. So I'm hoping that the program you have in Illinois Valley, you can expand to the other schools closer to Grants Pass.
So that was a comment about expanding our CTE programming specifically around automotive, and our automotive program at Illinois Valley High School is really robust. And so I used to work there at Illinois Valley High School. When I was a teacher, I could get my oil changed, you know, and the students would come and get my car between classes, take it, bring it back to me, you know, professional, you know, checkout sheet, and they would tell me all the things they did. And then I pay the program back them, you know, the money, and it was fantastic. And those students were learning about customer service, about being detailed, and then doing the work and doing it well. And so each one of our other schools, Hidden Valley and North Valley, both are interested and want to find opportunities to provide automotive, and it comes back down to teachers. So I pull one of your guys out of the industry for 80 grand to pay him 56 plus benefits and summers off. You know, it's a tough sell. So that's why we're really trying to, like, I'll take a proficient student in my automotive program, and we have a grow your own grant. I could send them to RCC, and then we can give them some help to do that, and then send them to school. They come back with a teaching license, and then we can have them start teaching automotive for us. That's what our grow your own program is all about, because I think that's probably the best way for me to pull people out of industry who are making a bunch of money. You know, we've lucked out of Illinois Valley. We have a guy named Jesse Clark, who was a contractor in Medford, and he just wanted to give back. And so he's out there teaching construction, the certified construction class. Kids are learning how to build from the ground up and all the other ancillary disciplines. So a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of pre-electric, you know, these types of things. And he's doing it because he loves it, but that's like the rare exception, you know. So
Feel for me.
No way. I'll just send you good ones. I promise. Up here and then back there.
You have a question online for Valerie?
All right. Is it that one?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I just want to thank you, Dave, for all that you do in the Three Rivers. This is such a tough time to be in teaching and experiencing, all the things that are going on in teaching. I was just curious as to whether you've had how it has been in your district with enrollment, whether you're having issues with people not coming into the school system, because of course we know funding is based upon per student. And so I was just curious how that is, how that's happening in Three Rivers District.
Sure. Great question, Dr. Thanks. So, yeah, we are down in enrollment like everybody else, but we're not down commensurate with the state. So reports are that the state was down 30,000 students statewide. That number has come down to about 20. We started, we were getting close to about the 4,300 mark right before COVID. And we went down to just below 4,000 when we came back, and we're at approximately 4,200 students. We're just shy of 4,200 students, about 4,170, I would say. Now, there are a lot of students that have opted out of brick and mortar, right? Come in, our high school start at 7:30 and get out at 3:45. And so a lot of students got used to 9 o'clock, open their computer, stay in their pajama bottoms, do a little school, play a little video games, multitask, that kind of thing. And so one of the things that I charged our teams with, all of our schools, middle and high school especially, was I need you to make school fun. I need you to make it inviting. I need it to be engaging. It's got to be a place where if I'm a student and I miss a day, there's something that matters. I missed something. Like you go to school or you go to lunch, I invite anybody if you want, call me, email me, I'll take you to lunch at North Valley High School. It's a blast. They're doing such cool things at lunch that students, when they're gone, they think they're going to miss something. And so I'm trying to make school the better option. Brick and mortar school, like we all went to, the better option, and a place where you just don't want to not be. That's a challenge. It's a challenge to overcome the pajama bottoms and 9 o'clock wake up call, but we're working really hard at it, and we're investing really hard in our younger grades. So middle school, I want middle school to be a blast. So that is just the culture that our students are kind of going into high school with. So that's how we're trying to overcome that, but we're not doing too bad in enrollment, and we're working on making that number better. One more question. Yes, right in the back. That's a great question. The first time I've gotten that in one of these presentations, so thank you for asking. So the question is, how's the 4-day school week going, and will we ever go back to 5? And my kid goes to the Fort Benoit too. We love it out there. So 4-day school week. It was really interesting. On March 11th, it was a Wednesday, our board voted to go to a 4-day school week. This was back in 2020. On that Friday, the 13th, the state shut down for COVID. And we had an extended spring break, which turned into an extended spring not going to school, that turned into the next school year not going to school. But we were in a 4-day week. Now we had gone into that vote on the 11th with a lot of intention about how to make the 4-day school week work in Three Rivers. And there's a lot of reasons that go into that. Our substitute teacher utilization rate was sky high. And so we were trying to make it to where if you had a doctor's appointment or other things that came up, you could do those things on Fridays. Our transportation liability, I talked about 10,000 miles a day. You cut one of those days out, you save a lot of money in transportation. We have a lot of wrecks, right? That was a factor that our board thought about, was the danger of how many times do I have a staff member driving from Grants Pass to Cave Junction on that road, right? So there were a lot of things that went into that. Being a rural school district like us, that was the decision. Now, What we have is a 4-day school week analysis committee that's comprised of administrators, teachers, and some parents that are looking at the viability of this 4-day school week. And the other thing that's going to happen is next year, we are going to have Friday activities. So Friday things at every school. In the high schools, it might be if I'm in an automotive class, now instead of 59 minutes to work on whatever project I'm working on, I have 6 hours to dig into a project. Same with like CTE, welding, metal, woods. Our little guys, our little elementary students can engage in, some reading support, some in-depth music, those kind of things, but we're going to do that everywhere. So we're providing things on Fridays next year. And then the board, about this time next year, will make a recommendation on whether or not we're going to look at going back to 5 or sticking with the 4. So that's kind of where we're at. So you bet. Thank you. I appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you, Dave and Wendy, for taking time out of your busy days to come and speak with us. That was very interesting. Really enjoyed it. Okay, I think Jolene's up next with Happy Bucks.
Okay, someone asked me to talk about President's Day. Instead of today is day, this is President's Day. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So the story of President's Day began in the 1800s following the death of President George Washington in 1799. His February 22nd birthday became a perennial day of remembrance. At the time, Washington was venerated as the most important figure in American history, and events like the 1932 centennial of his birth and the start of construction of the Washington Monument in 1848 were cause for national celebration. While Washington's birthday was an unofficial observance for most of the 1800s, it was not until 1870 that it became a federal holiday. The holiday initially only applied to the District of Columbia. That's because all the senators wanted another day off, I guess. But in 1885, it was expanded to the whole country. At the time, Washington's birthday joined other 4 nationally recognized federal bank holidays as Christmas Day, New Year's Day, 4th of July, and Thanksgiving. The shift from Washington's birthday to President's Day began in the late 1960s when Congress proposed a measure known as the Uniform Monday Holiday Act. Championed by Senator Robert McCloy of Illinois, the law sought to shift the celebration of several federal holidays from specific dates to a series of predetermined Mondays. The proposed change was seen by many as a novel way to create a more 3-day weekends for the nation's workers, and it was believed that ensuring holidays always fell on the same weekday would reduce employee absenteeism, while some argued that shifting holidays from their original dates would cheapen their meaning. The bill also had widespread support from both private sector and labor unions and was seen as a surefire way to bolster those retail sales. Like, the President's Day sales at all those furniture stores you see on TV. The Uniform Monday Holiday Act was also included a provision to combine the celebration of Washington's birthday and Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The Uniform Monday Holiday Act passed in 1968 and officially took effect in 1971 following the executive order from President Richard M. Nixon. Washington's birthday was then shifted from the fixed date of February 22nd to the 3rd Monday of February. Columbus Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day were also moved from their traditionally designated dates. As a result of widespread criticism in 1978, Veterans Day was returned to its original November 11th date. As a federal holiday, many banks and schools are closed in observance of President's Day. The New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are closed for trading on President's Day. The post office is not open and non-essential federal workers have the day off, which really truly means that all of us other non-federal workers still have to work on that Monday. Okay, it's time for Happy Bucks. Does anybody in Zoom land have Happy Bucks to give? I don't see any hands raising, so we're just gonna leave Zoom land. Oh, someone's got something? Who?
Serena
I have to go, but I'm getting 10 happy bucks for being able to work with the team at KOBI on their In This Together suicide prevention project.
Okay.
I'm hoping we'll be able to pull together an ad campaign for the LGBTQ+ community and help them to see that we're in this together. Our world is better because they are here. Thank you, Janie, for helping me to get connected.
Okay, there we go. Anybody here? Okay. Now I have 57 happy bucks from Greg for the 57th Super Bowl. And he wanted to say thank you to Ayryle at the Renaissance Museum of Art for letting us use the facility there. And to everyone who bought squares and who donated prizes. And special thanks to Patty for collecting the prizes. And there's some there in the box that didn't get selected. Some of them are pretty good, so if anybody wants a prize, they're right there. And Doug, who handled the audiovisual and did some other things. He did a lot of work. And Lutz, who emceed, thank goodness. We really appreciate all the people who pitched in, and then also everybody who helped clean up. Kyla said it was the best cleanup crew she's ever had, and we're invited back next year.
Well, I thought I had just two things to say for happy bucks, $20, but I got three. That's a poll, it's wonderful. Greg deserves a lot of credit for that. So thank you back to Greg, even with his laying on hands, hopefully that goes well. He's got carpal tunnel in both hands. He's got that surgery on. But I wanted to say thank you to Patty and the fundraising team, Porch Fest, for what they've done to organize the recipient list of our funds so quickly and effectively. So thank you, Patty, for that. Suzanne, yeah, your whole team. Oh, and Suzanne's not part of fundraising team, but part of the PR team. But good for you, and thank you for doing that. And then what I'm really excited about is that as part of the All Care Foundation, somebody in this club, I'm gonna get you up there. Approached us about a year and a half ago on the donate land to help get another project built for homeless people or for housing of some sort. And we struggled for that year and a half to figure out how to make that work. And so now we've luckily found some grants and some available land, or not available land, available funds. And a grant writer is going to help us get a grant to the state from the Veterans Administration to build a facility for veterans. So, yeah. Well, that means phase one is June, first part of the grant application. We have a number of grants that we've already landed, almost $1 million of grants so far. Which is fantastic about that. And then we got about $2.5 million to go. And we very likely build a facility for veterans in a year.
Don't we, how many veterans will be affected by this?
No, it's likely to be 15,000. Okay. So more than that, maybe you're right.
Rentals or?
Rental.
Yeah.
Anybody else with happy bucks? Looks like happy bucks is done for the day. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jolene. Okay, we're wrapping up the program. Excuse me. The thought for today is actually from my dad, who coached me in a lot of sports when I was a kid. And he always said that a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. So let's keep winning out there. And one more thing, our program next week is, let's see, Tony Mendenhall from Hearts with a Mission. And with that, we'll end the meeting. Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming.